Well, I have to say, I'm not really all surprised by this news that I'm about to go over here. Article will be linked in the description below, as always, for those of you that want to check it out for yourselves. But the CW, it's been going downhill for a while now, for years at this point, and now we see that it looks like it's costing them. So it says here, after embracing wokeness and seeing the ratings plummet across nearly all shows, the CW is for sale. The CW, the television network jointly owned by Viacom, CBS, Warner Media, and Warner Media, is up for sale following the network's embrace of wokeness and nearly all of their shows. Ratings and viewership plummeting. Oh boy. So yeah, as we know, look, and it's interesting that they show Batwoman as the first example because from the very beginning, we knew what it was, right? With how heavily they were pushing an agenda even from the very beginning of that show. And honestly speaking, after that first season, it really shouldn't have gotten renewed for a second season if we're going to base it on merit, right? If we're going to base it on viewership, which is why most of these shows end up getting second, third seasons or staying on the air for as long as they do. It's really based on how many people watch it. So really, this show was one that really should have been canceled a long time ago, but stayed on the air because I guess they just wanted to waste their money and they didn't want to accept their failure with this show, but it remained on the air. So it was first reported by the Wall Street Journal that both Viacom, CBS, and Warner Media were exploring the option of selling the network. Joe Flint detailed AT&T's Warner Media and Viacom, CBS Incorporated are exploring a possible sale of a significant stake of all the CW network, which they jointly own, according to people familiar with the matter. Flint went on to write, among the suitors is Nexstar Media Group Incorporated, the nation's biggest broadcaster and a large owner of affiliates of the network, the people close to the talks said. The report was all but confirmed by CW boss Mark Pedowitz in a memo he sent to CW employees that was obtained by The Hollywood Reporter. In the memo, Pedowitz wrote, I am sure you have seen the recent speculation in the press around the CW, so I wanted to take the opportunity to address this with you directly and share with you what we know. He then stated, first, as many of you are aware, over the past year or so, this transformative time in our industry has led to a series of business activity across media and content companies. Given the environment right now, Viacom, CBS, and Warner Brothers are exploring strategic opportunities to optimize the value of their joint venture in the CW network. It's too early to speculate what might happen, but we promise to keep you updated as we learn more. So what does this mean for us right now? It means we must continue to do what we do best, make the CW as successful and vibrant as we have always done. Oh, those days are long behind you guys now. We have a lot of work ahead of us with more original programming than ever. This season's expansion to Saturday night, our growing digital and streaming platform, and we thrive when we come together and build the CW together, Pedowitz concluded. Pedowitz's apparent confirmation of the original The Wall Street Journal report comes as pretty much all of the CW's scripted series have seen their ratings plummet. As TV series finale reports, Walker, their best series, has seen its viewership decline by almost 30% year over year. Its average views per episode is currently 934,000. It has a .12 rating in the 18 to 49 age demographic. Walker isn't the only series to see its ratings nosedive. The Flash dropped by over 12% year over year. All American declined by 8%. Batwoman, whose ratings were already in the toilet, still declined by nearly 10%. Damn. Legacies has seen an over 30% decline. Nancy Drew's ratings have dropped by nearly 30%, and Riverdale's have declined by over 35%. The only show to see boost in viewership in the current 2021 to 22 seasons are DC's Legends of Tomorrow, a 25% increase, and Dynasty, a 30% increase. However, DC's Legends of Tomorrow is still only averaging 522,000 viewers per episode, and Dynasty is averaging only 345,000. And you can see here they show the ratings average here, and yeah, this is not good. This is horrible. With ratings like this, it's surprising that some of these shows are still on the air. So it says the decline in the show's ratings across the board is not isolated to this current season of television. Only two scripted shows in 2020 to 2021 season did I see the ratings decline. These shows were Tell Me a Story, which was canceled after it averaged only 376,000 viewers per episode, and Wellington Paranormal, which averaged 223,000 viewers, or 223,000 viewers per episode. This is crazy. 223,000 viewers. That is, I can't even wrap my head around that, because if you think about it, back when I was growing up, I mean, you're talking about shows that would garner, in the millions. You know what I mean? If a show dipped down to like 2 million viewers or something like that, that seemed to be cancel worthy back in the day. If a show had before that, like, tens of millions of viewers, and it dipped, down to the single digit number, I mean, that would be almost justification enough for them to go ahead and ixnay, a show. But now it's surprising that shows can drop this low and still remain on the air. It's insane to me. So you see here, these are all the more percentages that they're showing total by viewership. And then you see the ones that were renewed, the ones that were canceled. Here goes Tell Me a Story. This show, wow. The constant decline was also seen during the 2019 to 2020 season. Only Whose Line Is It Anyway and All American saw their viewership increase. Whose Line Is It Anyway increased by over 8%, with average viewers per episode at 968,000. All American increased just shy of 8%, 719 viewers per episode. Now, I mean, obviously, look, in fairness, I mean, we also know the reason that the viewership has declined across these shows too is really because of streaming platforms. People prefer to binge watch stuff as opposed to just waiting every week for a new episode of stuff. That they just kind of wait it out a little bit more and watch something else in the interim that they could just watch episode after episode after episode after episode, give it a break, and then continue on the next day or whatever. They just wait for seasons of this stuff to come out, like on Netflix, and then they just go ahead and binge watch these seasons. But and also, like I said, all these different platforms here, YouTube. I mean, YouTube takes a lot of viewership away from a lot of these old school network sites or networks, and it has more to do, obviously, than just the wokeness, but that I'm sure plays a very big factor in all this as well, because when you think about it, nobody likes shows. People don't watch shows to be preached to about what a bad person they might be just because they don't line up with the ideology of some of these characters, right? Nobody likes to put on a show to be reminded of the nonsense that they're trying to escape from in the real world. That's the whole point of having things like video games, things like movies, things like TV shows, comic books, other forms of media. They provide an escape from the norm. And the problem is a lot of these shows, all they want to do is just keep, repeating the same thing, trying to drill into people's head how they are, either inherently privileged for whatever reason, or they're inherently an ist or a phobe because of whatever reason. They say it's all stupid. It's not good story writing anymore. It's just, some person that doesn't really know or is not really in touch with how the real world works, or how any of the, the culture of these communities that they're trying to represent in these shows. They don't fully understand them, or the races or ethnicities of these characters are trying to portray in these shows, and they come off as caricatures that are only really defined by their outward characteristics, right? They're only not by the content of their character, and that's one of the biggest problems with a lot of these shows. It's a pattern that we see happening over and over again, and why these shows are starting to suffer so much, because they're not about good stories anymore. They're about social justice brownie points, and it's a shame, because good shows that look, Flash, once upon a time when it first started, it was a good show, and it became insufferable after, I think, the third season for me is when it really took the nosedive. I mean, the second season it started to kind of that's when it really started to go downhill. After the third season, in my opinion, that's when it just completely I was done with it. at that point, and it just got. I tried to watch after that, and it was just progressively worse. Same thing with Arrow, right? Arrow used to be a great show. After I think, what was it, the fifth season? It just, fourth or fifth season, it just became a terrible show. It just became just another show, and it's a shame. It really is. Good TV, I don't know. There's still some good programs out there, but as far as network TV goes, it's going downhill. So I'm not surprised, but what do y'all think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, y'all know how it goes. The hunt continues.